What are your feelings about reinstituting a draft? Are you for it or against it, and why?
I'd be against it. This has been a voluntary army, voluntary military for a very long time. And I think we should keep it that way. But I think there needs to be a reason for people to want to serve, besides patriotism. They need to know their families will be taken care of. They need to know that they will have health care. I have a bill drafted for mandatory health care for veterans class E6 and down. It takes them out of the VA system for treatment and puts them into private doctors and hospitals. They don't have to drive 3 hours to get cancer treatment, when they might not have somebody to drive them to get that cancer treatment. It also forms a commission to have an ongoing study for veterans' health affairs. And I plan to propose that in my first term in Congress.
Okay. All three?
Yes, please.
Okay. Let's see, Mr. Carter? Sure.
And the question is,
Do you support a draft? Why or why not?
Absolutely not, number one. Number two, with the equality in the world, that would force the females to be drafted along with the males. Number three, I'm a little bit tired of the country deciding who our enemies are. I think the people should decide who our enemies are. If we can unite as a country, our enemies don't stand a chance. This way, when they pick out who and where they're going and don't declare war, our guys don't have a chance. Our gals don't have a chance. So if they institute a draft, we would come the closest, I think, to a political revolution we'd ever see.
I know that there's been a bill proposed by some of the Democratic leadership for a draft, and the purpose of that was to put the leaders, the legislators' children at risk. I mean, we know that John Kerry has, Mitt Romney has a number of children, a number of sons, and none of these young men have volunteered for service. So I can understand that position. Personally, I don't want to put my children at risk unless they want to choose that risk. I've had relatives in my family who chose to go in the military. I've had relatives who did not volunteer for the military. My brothers were available for the draft during the Vietnam conflict, and it certainly was an unpopular draft, and it was an unpopular conflict in this country. So, unless we could ensure that the draft was equal and that people who chose to send our troops abroad that their children were just as much at risk as the children of the rest of us, I would never support a draft. However, I would like to say that if somebody invades our country, I would expect that I and all of my children would be there to defend this country. And I don't think we would need a draft.
All right.